All right, let's talk about one of the most common questions you'll get in a technical interview. Seriously, if you nail this one, you're going to signal to your interviewer that you're not just a coder, you're a strategic developer. So let's break down how to give an answer that really makes you stand out. So picture this. You're in the interview room. You just got through the coding part and you're feeling pretty good. Then the interviewer leans back and hits you with this question. It seems so simple, right? But believe me, your answer tells them so much about how you think about building solid, reliable software.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go way beyond the simple textbook definition. Our goal is to craft an answer that really pops. So let's start by digging into the first piece of this puzzle.
Okay, first up, the unit test. The best way to think about this is like you're putting a single, tiny piece of your code under a microscope.
The key word here, and you really got to remember this, is isolation. A unit test is all about checking one specific thing, like a single function or a class, and making sure it does exactly what you think it does, with absolutely no noise from the rest of the system.
So what makes a unit test a unit test? Well, they're completely self-contained. They don't talk to a real database. They don't call some external API. Instead, we use what are called mocks, basically fakes. And because of this, they are incredibly fast. We're talking milliseconds. Their whole job is to just verify that the logic inside that one little piece of code is correct.
So when would you actually use these? Think about any critical, self-contained piece of logic. Does this function calculate the final price correctly? Is this user actually eligible for that new promotional discount? These are absolutely perfect scenarios for a quick, targeted unit test. Okay, so we've checked all the individual bricks to make sure they're solid, but what happens when you try to build a wall with them? That's where integration tests come in. Integration testing is all about connection. It's about collaboration. We're not looking at one isolated part anymore. We're making sure that multiple parts of our system can actually talk to each other and work together as a team to get something done.
Now, the huge difference here is realism. Integration tests use real dependencies. We're talking about connecting to an actual database or making a call to a real live API. But that realism comes with a price. They are way, way slower to run than a unit test. Their goal isn't to check one tiny piece of logic, it's to verify the behavior of the whole system working together.
So you'd pull out an integration test for a whole user journey. For example, when a user hits that sign up button, does a new record actually get created in the database? When they try to log in, does your API correctly authenticate them and send back a token? These are the kinds of questions that only an integration test can truly answer.
Right. We've looked at both sides. Now let's put them right next to each other. This is where it'll all click.
So here's the showdown. On the left, you've got the unit test. Think of it like a surgeon's scalpel. It's precise, it's focused, it's fast. And on the right, you have the integration test. That's more like a full-body CT scan. It's comprehensive, and it's all about how the real-world system works as a whole.
And this table right here, this is your perfect cheat sheet. Let's run through it. Scope. Unit tests are super narrow. Integration tests are broad. Speed. Unit tests are lightning fast. Integration tests, not so much. Dependencies. Unit tests use fakes. Integration tests use the real deal. It really all boils down to their purpose. Are you checking the logic of one piece or the behavior of the whole system?
So you might be asking, which one's better? Well, that's actually the wrong question. The real key, the pro move, is knowing how to use them together. And that brings us to the most important strategic idea of all. Seriously, if you remember just one thing from all of this, make it this concept right here. The testing pyramid is your blueprint for a healthy, robust testing strategy. This is the idea that separates the good developers from the truly great ones.
And the idea is actually pretty simple. The base of your pyramid, the biggest part, should be a ton of fast, cheap-to-run unit tests. They're your foundation. Then, as you move up, you have fewer, more comprehensive integration tests. The whole point is to find a balance. You absolutely need both to have a system you can trust.
So why is that balance so critical? Well, imagine you only write unit tests. You could have a bunch of perfectly crafted, individually flawless components that just completely fall apart the second you try to connect them. You have tons of confidence in the pieces, but zero confidence in the final product.
And on the flip side, if you only write slow integration tests, your whole development process grinds to a halt. When a test finally fails, you know something in the system is broken, but you have no clue which of the dozens of components is the real problem. It turns debugging into an absolute nightmare. Okay, so we have all the individual pieces of the puzzle on the table. Now let's put them all together into that killer interview answer we've been talking about.
You want to start by showing you get the unique value of each one. You can say something like, unit tests are all about speed and giving me confidence in my business logic. On the other hand, integration tests give me realism and reliability in the overall system. See, they're not fighting each other, they're partners.
And now for the part that really impresses interviewers. You follow up with your strategy. You'd say, I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach. I choose my test type based on the situation. I think about the risk, the complexity, and the business impact of the feature I'm building. That shows you don't just write tests, you make smart decisions.
And finally, here it is, your golden one-liner, the perfect way to summarize it all. This sentence is clean, it's confident, and it shows you understand the fundamental purpose of both testing types perfectly.
And really, that's what this all comes down to. This isn't just about passing an interview, it's about how you approach your craft every single day. By understanding these trade-offs, you'll build better, stronger, more reliable software. So I'll leave you with that question to think about. What's your strategy going to be?